This meeting
Like
is
I got
being recorded.
9 o'clock this morning, so if we could, we'll rise, do a pledge and say a prayer, and then call the meeting to order here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we come before you this morning with humble hearts as we look to serve our community and just be good stewards of all that's been entrusted to our care, dear Lord. Pray you just continue to bless this county, continue to use us in a way that we are able to just glorify you in our actions, words, and deeds. We just praise you and we thank you. In Jesus' name, amen. Good morning, everybody. We'll call the meeting to order and look for a motion for the approval of the claims and minutes of last month.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, thank you. Next on our agenda this morning, we've got our Veteran of the Month.
Morning, Daryl.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, all. Opportunity for this month to recognize the military veteran for the Kosciuszko County for the month of June. The veteran is Carolyn Gunder, has been a resident of Kosciuszko County, Indiana since 1987. Born in Noble County, Indiana, to Robert and Catherine Kinsey, Carolyn grew up in Ligonier, Indiana, and graduated from Ligonier High School in 1959. She enlisted into the United States Navy on 4 January 1960 in Noble County, Indiana as well. She attended basic training in Brentbridge, Maryland, to become a personnel specialist. Now, to many do not understand the power of that position. My father told me when I went in, there's 3 people you do not want to upset. That's the mess sergeant, who is equivalent to the restaurant manager. That's where your food comes from daily. The other was the supply sergeant. That's where your equipment comes from. And the other is personnel specialist. Why?
Good advice.
They handle personnel issues, but it's also finance, leave, etc. So it's an exciting, people say, oh, personnel specialist. I just want you to know the importance of that position, serving for, and you'll hear, for 20 years in the United States Army, and retired as a petty officer first class, which is equivalent pay grade to staff sergeant in the United States Army and Marines, and the technical sergeant in the United States Air Force. While on active duty, she received awards that include the National Defense Ribbon and the Navy Good Conduct Medal. Carolyn was honorably discharged, retired, on May 28, 1980, from the United States Navy. Serving her country proudly, Carolyn remained in Norfolk, Virginia, her last duty station, for 7 years to work in a local bank and the military base auto hobby shop. She returned to Syracuse, Indiana to live with her sister and work in Tender Graphics Eaton Technology. Again, she retired in 2002. Carolyn, though, only lasted for a year before she went back into the workforce to work at Walmart for 5 more years. After that route, she decided, well, I guess I'm going to officially retire, but she took on the mission of, now she is currently the commander of the American Legion in Wawasee Post 223 in Syracuse, Indiana. She's a member of the American Legion Honor Guard and also the Lady Auxiliary Unit 223. And what I found out is that she is leaving tomorrow for the honor flight, which is a big event. And I'm proud to recognize the Veteran of the Month for Kosciuszko County. Carolyn, please come forward. All right. Got it. Okay, Kosciuszko County awards the Veteran of the Month, Carolyn Gunder, in recognition of her outstanding contribution to the mission of serving the people of the United States and the resident of Kosciuszko County, and honorable service as a member of the United States Navy. Congratulations.
Yeah, this is a great honor, because I didn't expect it, because they've been basically doing all gentlemen veterans, and I don't know whether we've had another female or not. But this was great, I was excited, and another excited was when Chris is going to be my babysitter on the honor flight trip. And but we're honored to go on that, and I think he's a little bit more excited than I am, but you know, kids. But I appreciate this. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you again, Carol. Appreciate it.
Now you're stuck. One more, David. No, I'm just kidding.
Can I make a comment about the veteran?
Sure, sure.
In keeping with Carolyn's comment about, she's the third lady that we've had as Veteran of the Month. And the way that works is if you have someone that you feel you'd like to be honored as Veteran of the Month, just contact one of the commissioners with the person's name. And the criteria is you just have to have been a honorably discharged veteran from Kosciuszko County. That's the only criteria. We don't feel that you need to be a jet pilot in the Civil War or jump through hoops, or just to be an American, honorably discharged, and be a veteran from Kosciuszko County. So that's the way that whole thing works. If you have anybody you think might rise to the level where you feel that they need to be honored, we'd be more than willing to take that into consideration. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.
Next on our agenda this morning is Ann, County Clerk, on our consulting contract.
Good morning. I'm
morning,
here to
Annie.
present a service agreement between my office and Maximus Consulting. They are the ones that prepare our child support incentive claims to the state to receive federal money back. The funds that pay this contract is paid through that, so it's not a county controlled. And so there's a lot with, as you know, with federal grants to monitor, and Maximus is there to help us through all that. So.
Awesome.
Very good.
And we've been using Maximus since 2009.
Yeah, they've been working good for you.
Yes, they have.
You just need a motion for that?
Yes.
I'd make the motion that you continue with Maximus as your consultant.
Second.
Okay.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All
Motion
right.
carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Keep up the good work.
Okay, next on the agenda, Ed, our EMA. Has a couple grant requests.
We like Ed and his grant requests. Congratulations, by the way, on being the
Grand Marshal.
Grand Marshal for the Mentone Parade. That was some really nice pictures. that I
Thank
saw,
you.
so.
Thank you. It was a great honor for both my wife and myself
Yes.
to be presented that way. So
Very good.
fantastic. What I'm bringing before you, although there's two boxes, there's really only one thing here, and that is the grant request for the multi-hazard mitigation plan. Now, we have done this in the past. I think this is the third time since I've started this position that we've had to renew that. It's an integral part of our floodplain management plan. We have to have this in place. It's one of the prerequisites for it. The other thing is it does, once we have this approved by FEMA, we are available then to apply for multi-hazard mitigation money for other grants for projects that are listed in the plan. So this is a reimbursable grant, but there is a 25% match. What we have done in the past and never had any issues with is we use the hours that people from around the community who put their time and efforts into this, and we urge all jurisdictions, agencies within the county to be involved with it, but we use their hours and offset, because it can be 25% in-kind match. It has to be 25% match, but it can be either cash or in-kind. And so what I need is your approval to submit the letter of intent for this grant, and then we can start moving forward.
Okay. Michelle, you've looked at this, no issues there? Thumbs up? Thumbs up. Okay, awesome.
I would make a motion, we allow Ed to proceed.
I'd second that motion.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
Thank you, Ed. Okay, next is the help program ordinance. I think, Ed, you're gonna kind of introduce it, and then I'll kind of fill in the gaps maybe a little bit.
Yeah, the ordinance is titled Ordinance Creating a Special Fund for the Kosciuszko County Help Program. Reads in pertinent part, the county was one of 3 communities selected by the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs to participate in the first cohort of the Hoosier Enduring Legacy Program. Help encourages communities to develop strategic investment plans focused on 4 pathways: advancing e-connectivity, enhancing quality of life, promoting community wellness, and strengthening local economies. Private citizens may have an interest in contributing toward the Kosciuszko County Help Program. It is necessary to provide by way of ordinance for a special fund to enable private citizens to make contributions towards that program. The ordinance is, number 1, there is hereby created a special fund to be designated and known as the Kosciuszko County Help Program Special Fund. 2, all donations made to that program shall be deposited into the fund. And 3, the fund shall be administered by the county auditor, and all donations deposited therein shall be used for the benefit of the Kosciuszko County Help Program.
Yeah, thank you, Ed. Pretty much, this is geared around our help program that we're in the throes of here. Amy Rowe is our community coordinator for this, and she's been working really hard to try and get good community outreach, engagement there. And we actually have an event tonight. Would like to invite everyone to. It's a community engagement event. Starts at 5 o'clock out at Grace College, Westminster Hotel. I know it's been in the paper and stuff, but still trying to give it another plug for tonight. But some of the local vendors in the community and the county here have donated some monies to help pay for some of the event tonight, as well as ongoing community engagement events in the different communities that are involved in it. So this is something that's it's a great opportunity for our county. We're excited about it, continuing to see a lot of people come out in support of that, and it's just an opportunity for them to give some monies to help fund some of these events. So it doesn't get into county taxpayer dollars. So with that, I'd look for a motion to approve the ordinance for the donations.
I'll make that motion.
Yeah. I'll second it.
We got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. Next, any office holder, department head have anything to come before the commissioners this morning? Okay, hearing none. Next, county administrator, Marcia?
I have nothing today, thank you.
Okay. County auditor?
You missed the attorney.
Oops, sorry.
Yes.
I'll hit it.
Good morning.
Check it
Good
too
morning,
quick.
Michelle.
Thank you. This morning, I wanted to give you all an update on our ACH process and the internal controls associated with our ACH process. So over the past several weeks, we have utilized every resource that we have access to come together and really add additional safeguards in our process. We have at least 3 separate verification processes now that was implemented immediately to verify all the information for vendors initially and account numbers as well. So just wanted to let you know that we have put this in place. There was a time we were holding ACHs till this was finalized. We've had several people review the process. This will be a living, breathing document. We will review it periodically, probably quarterly. So as we receive other information and feedback from individuals, we can update our current process that we have in place.
Okay.
Cheryl, appreciate you coming and speaking on this. I know you've worked really hard the last couple of weeks, really trying to get a solid plan for us to move forward with. So do appreciate that and your team's work there. One of the other things, just for the record, I mean, this is an ongoing investigation with this, you know, and there's going to be multiple jurisdictions that are involved in that investigation, both state and federal. So, you know, it is ongoing. You know, once those findings are done, we'll release that to the public. But we do appreciate everything you've done to help
Right. Thank you.
guard our funds there. So,
Thanks, Michelle.
then I skipped Ed there, so we're going to drop back to Ed. Do you have anything this morning?
No, no further report.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then next on the agenda is Steve.
You don't have anything?
Morning, Steve.
Hey, good morning. I come to you today to honor one of our employees. Debbie Winger received last week an award from the Indiana Association of County Highways Engineers and Supervisors as the Administrative Employee of the Year. This is a great honor throughout all the state of Indiana that they've picked Miss Debbie. In November 4th, 1991, Debbie began her Kosciuszko County Highway Department, and her dedication of years of service to the taxpayers and to all of Kosciuszko County. As the office manager, Debbie has many responsibilities and duties. The first and foremost, she looks over the safety and well-being of our employees and our residents of Kosciuszko. She's instrumental in our day-to-day activities of the county, overseeing financial allocations, local and federal dollars. Debbie is the definition of heart and soul. She has 43 employees that she treats as her own family, always protecting, guiding through every aspect of life. She is the best of the best. Miss Debbie is not only a coworker, she is our friend. Miss Debbie enjoys spending time in her lake house on Chapman Lake with her husband, Matt, 40 years. And Matt and Debbie have 2 children, Alex and Leah. And I would like to honor her today. So, Miss Debbie. You got to get a picture.
No, I don't want to say anything. Thank you. Yeah.
One, two, three. One more. One, two, three.
I want you to get a photo so you can take.
I disagree.
Squeeze together.
Wait. You were in the photo. One, two, three. One more. One, two, three.
Thank you, Gary.
I like this because you make me look tall.
It's kind of neat when you call out the highway garage about something, she can tell who you are by your voice. She just knows. Very good.
I know when you walk in the office out there, she always has a smile on her face. So
Yeah.
It's always good to walk in and see Debbie behind the desk. So appreciate all you do, Debbie and Steve. Let's see, so it looks like we're ready to start into our nonprofits here for budget presentation. So we'll start with Matt from St. Joe River Basin. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
My name is Matt Mearsman, and I serve as the director of the St. Joseph River Basin Commission. Technically, I'm an employee of the Michiana Area Council of Governments, which is a regional planning agency, represents Kosciuszko, Marshall, Elkhart, and St. Joe counties. But we serve the St. Joe River Basin through a partnership agreement, and you might wonder, St. Joe River, what are we talking about that for? It doesn't go through Kosciuszko County, but of course, about a third of the county does drain to the St. Joe, most notably Lake Wawasee and Turkey Creek. So we were created back in the 80s to address water quality concerns, but also flood mitigation, stormwater, and we have representation from all 6 counties in northern Indiana that drain to the St. Joe. There's a table in your packet that's kind of a breakdown, I think it's on the 3rd or 4th page, of our appropriation requests. So we have increased our budget appropriation from the state of Indiana, but we do rely on appropriations from our local government members for our basic operating budget. We're asking for the same amount this year as we have the last couple years, which is $3,705, and that supports our basic operating costs. And then we were able to utilize the state funds to do some special programs. We have good representation from Kosciuszko County. Commissioner Groniger serves on our commission. We also have Bob Weaver from the Health Department. Jim Moyer often comes from the Surveyor's Office, and then Jewel Weiss from Soil and Water here in Kosciuszko. So got good representation there, and I guess, you know, we do a lot of different kinds of projects. There's a few that I feel have an impact, especially on the county here, that I want to bring your attention to. One of them is with the support that we've been getting from our local government members. It's allowed us to use those state funds to bring on an additional staff person. We hired an aquatic biologist that's working with us on our monitoring efforts. And we do have a site here in Kosciuszko County on Turkey Creek, just upstream of Lake Wawasee. And we just got our data back from last year's sampling events. We look at the bugs that are living in the creek to get a better sense of the health of it, and it came back very good. It's one of our best sites in the whole basin, which probably won't surprise any of you, but it was very encouraging for us. So that's one of the things that we're able to do, is do some monitoring. Not only are we looking at water quality and biological monitoring, but we're also getting ready to deploy some flow monitoring equipment to get an idea of quantity and sort of be able to predict where we might have flooding issues and stuff like that. So that's sort of the next step for our monitoring efforts. Another thing that we did just recently, back April 30th, working with the town of Syracuse, I think I mentioned last year when I was here that we did a study to identify where we could plant trees in town that would have the biggest impact on stormwater uptake to get water off the stormwater system, reduce how much is draining straight to the lake. Is that my timer?
Oh, you're fine.
Okay, all right. I can make it quick. I won't be much longer.
Time's up, move on.
All right.
Step away from the trap.
Exactly. So on April 30th, we planted 50 trees in Syracuse in those locations that were identified through that study. So that was a good project. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention, I talked wetlands when we were here last time. You know, if anybody knows about wetlands, they think of them as great places for wildlife and, you know, frogs and snakes and things like that. But they're also really important for floodwater storage, filters on they're like sponges on the landscape and filters. So we worked with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the Wawasee Area Conservancy Foundation to identify some high-priority wetland restoration sites upstream of the lakes, you know, where we might be able to pay landowners to put some wetlands back on the landscape that would have the biggest impact on water quality and flood mitigation. So thought I'd mention just a few projects that we're doing here in the county and say thank you for all the support you've given us over the years, and we really appreciate your participation in the commission. So if you got any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'll be back to see the council on Thursday night.
Yep. Matt,
Thanks,
I appreciate
Matt.
you coming down today,
All right.
and we do appreciate the efforts that you're doing to help our water quality and drainage in our county, so
Awesome.
we appreciate you, so thank
Thank
you.
Holding the line on the budget.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda this morning is the Historical Society, Jerry, and I think Jim?
Tinky. Glad to see you brought Sally with you, Jerry.
That's what I was gonna say. Right here.
Good morning. I'm Jim Tinky. I'm treasurer for the Historical Society, and Jerry Fresh is our board president. And again, I want to thank you for all the, I'm new on the board, so don't know the history, total history, but do appreciate all the support you've given in the past to the Historical Society. I think we are asking for a slight increase in our budget this year. We're seeing operating costs going up. The support you give us gives us a lot of support on our normal operations, primarily salaries and utility costs. So we are seeing some large capital expenditure needs coming up. We need to replace our HVAC units. We need to upgrade some computer equipment. We're having a leak in our roof area, so there's some major capital things that we're using beyond what you've given us. So, we're pretty simple operation. I do have salaries down here. I really call them stipends. We've got all of our employees are part-time. Nobody's earning a living out of this operation, and we try to keep it very low cost operation to support the community in the not only genealogical society area, but it's also in providing historical storage for historical documentation and records keeping for the county. So I don't know if there's any questions. I think pretty straightforward, hopefully. Again, we appreciate all the support you've given us in the past. We look forward to continue your support in the future. So,
Very good.
all right.
Thank you for coming in this morning.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good to see you guys.
Yep.
Okay, next on the agenda, the 4-H Council. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
Good.
It's like you have some swine farmers with you today.
Just a few, yeah. First off, I want to say good morning to everyone. But I was here last month. I'm Andrew Farrell. I'm the 4-H youth educator for the county. And I talked a lot last month, had a few of our 4-H members present to you about the importance of the program and the value that they see. We talked about our connection to Baker Youth and the things we're doing with Baker Youth Club and summer lunch program through Goshen College and Syracuse Elementary that we're doing out in the community. Of course, we have our livestock and general project stuff that we're doing, and then also getting a connection made with Grace College to boost our volunteer base. But one of the things we're looking for this upcoming year, it is a 2% increase from last year, is our budget for this next year. We're looking to get $45,233, if you see in the handout that you should have. I wanted to tell you, though, that if you flip to the back page of our information, our enrollment numbers were of 513. We had 3 more days until we closed that. We ended up with 555 regular 4-H members and 137 mini 4-H members. So in total, we're looking at about 700 kids that we're reaching across the county. Would I like to increase that? Yeah, over the next couple of years, that's my goal. We went up about 50 kids from last year, so that seems like a pretty significant number. But enough from hearing from me. I'll give it to a couple other people that are intricate into our program. One of them is 4-H Council President Tyler Baus.
Y'all talk before Nash excitedly gets up here and shares his experience with you. He learned that this morning that he was doing that. We appreciate, as Andrew said, we greatly appreciate your support. Through the pandemic, along with many of these organizations, the numbers and enrollments went down significantly. Here in the county, Andrew's done a great job through the funding and support of the local people. There's 232 certified volunteers that also make this work, and it's a rolling machine right now. Enrollment's going up. The excitement and the YMCA's and the Baker Youth Club that we've gotten into through the STEM process is great. So we appreciate your support. With that, Nash will give you a couple reasons why he enjoys 4-H.
Good
Get
morning.
you out of school for the summer, right?
Well, the relationships that I've made in 4-H is I wouldn't trade the world for them. They are incredible, and the hard work that you get out of getting up every morning and walking and doing whatever animal you do. Just doing the requirements to get them ready for county and state, whatever fairs you go to. Yep.
Very good, thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thanks, Nash.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Tyler.
it.
We appreciate you.
Can you give us the, when is the county fair?
July 10th through the 16th.
Okay.
Andrew, I appreciate you really reaching out to some of these other organizations that are community, Grace College and some of those, and getting people involved. I mean, I think we have a lot of resources here that being
You do.
able to really utilize those and engage them in
Yes.
something that I think is great for our kids of our county is thumbs up. Great job. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
They're a highly agricultural community, and that's a good process.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda, Cardinal Center, Matt.
Morning,
Next year,
Matt.
I'd like to request a schedule change. I always have to follow an incredible 4-H student, and you just can't compete. So just want to come before you and thank you guys for your ongoing support with Cardinal. It's partners like you that make it possible that we can do the work that we do in this community, and that's not lost on us. And we understand the importance of working together as a community. This year, we are requesting $108,129 for the 2023 calendar year. The money that we request from the county goes directly to our programs and operations each year. We usually like to identify which programs that's going to be impacting and supporting. And so I just want to briefly share with you 3 programs that we're going to be, for the most part, equally dispersing these funds to. The first being our Head Start and Early Head Start program. This program, for those of you not familiar with it, really prepares economically disadvantaged children and families, really birth to age 5, because there is an Early Head Start program that's a part of it. We serve about 200 students and families each year through this program. What's unique is that we have 3 classrooms here in Warsaw, just down the road on Buffalo Street, but we have classrooms within the schools throughout the county. So we actually have a classroom in North Webster, we have one at Lincoln, at Leesburg, at Claypool, and in Mentone, which is really cool because then these families get to be a part of the school system they're going to be entering into, and they built that familiarity. A family of 4, to be eligible for this program, a family of 4 cannot have an income greater than $27,750. And we have a waiting list for services in this county. So it tells you there are a lot of families in need. We're actually seeing an increased occurrence of homelessness and mental health needs with the students, 3 to 5-year-old students coming in to receive support. One of the other services that is offered to Kosciuszko County is called Healthy Families. And Healthy Families is really a service that comes alongside of the family and supports them with the goal of the services that are provided, the support that's provided is going to decrease the occurrence of child abuse in our community by really giving that family the resources they need. Each year we do this for around 50 to 60 families in the community. It is an in-home based service where our family support specialists are going to the site and visiting and having eyes on that family and connecting them with the services in the community that they need. So this is another one where it's not just us. We're partnering with many different agencies to meet those needs. Focusing on all sorts of things, parental resilience, social and emotional competency within that family. How do we parent? What do those skills look like? And then finally, cabs, which you're very much familiar with as you are the owners of cabs. I always remind you of that. This is where we provide public transportation as well as Medicaid transportation throughout the state of Indiana. The public transportation is specific for Kosciuszko County. Last calendar year, we did get back up to 36,906 rides, which is about a 17% increase from the prior year. I'll remind you that pre-pandemic, we were running around 60,000 rides. So we're hopeful that we're going to keep inching our way back up to that number as people return to work and return to using the bus service. This is a program that requires local match. And so one of the cool things about the county supporting cabs is each one of those dollars secures a federal dollar coming into our community to provide this service. And so it's really important that we have local partners for public transportation. So again, thank you so much. It really is an honor to serve and work in this community and meet the needs of the families and individuals that need the services we provide. So thanks for making that possible.
Matt, we appreciate you coming in this morning. I mean, I know the service you provide are, people that no fault of their own are in some of these situations. We really appreciate the services you provide for our county. They're very important, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay, next on our agenda is home health care. Glenn?
Good morning
Good morning,
again. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. And as with all of these agencies, it always amazes me to say thank you seems a little trivial, because the fact is that that thank you comes with a lot of heart, and we could not provide the services that we provide without your help. And so that's why we come back. This year, our ask for Kosciuszko Home Care and Hospice is the same as last year's. We're asking for $50,000 in support. For over 46 years, we've provided both home care and hospice services in Kosciuszko County. And for the last several years, even before I came over 5 years ago now, which it seems unreal to me, Kosciuszko Home Care and Hospice has operated at a net operating loss every year in total. And as you all know, no business can sustain that kind of record. And so at the end of last year, in about October, my board and I made a strategic decision to change our focus from trying to provide every home care service that we could provide to really focusing in on what the greatest need was in our county, and that is for palliative care. So we've changed our home care to be focused more on palliative care, which is those patients who are either chronically ill or those patients who may be terminal, but they still want to seek aggressive treatment, or maybe they're terminal, they have some chronic illness, and they're just not mentally ready yet for hospice. The goal is that we would treat those patients, because today, or as of the end of the year, palliative care patients in Kosciuszko County had to go to a palliative clinic in Fort Wayne, Goshen, Plymouth, or South Bend. And now we can provide that palliative care in the home. And that is a need that we had greatly in our county. We also made some tough decisions to reduce our overhead expenses. We did reduce some staff through just natural attrition and retirement. We did not replace those staff members. Last year alone, in 2021, my staff drove over 122,000 miles in this county, providing services at 11,000 visits. And of those 11,000 plus visits, almost 6% of those were non-billable. So we had the expense, but we couldn't bill for them either, and a variety of reasons. The patient refused service, patient was in the hospital, and we were not aware of that. That happens a lot. So all of these things contribute, and then our costs have continued to go up. Even though the pandemic is now on the backside, we hope, but our costs have not gone down. And for 2 years, we held our salaries and wages at a flat level. We did not give increases. This year, starting in January, we were able to give an increase with the blessing of the board. And that funding that you provide us helps me do that, to provide a good living for our excellent nurses and our home health care aides and the staff that support them. And so we would like to continue to provide the excellent care and service in the home that we do for both our palliative home care and our hospice patients. We also have invested in, we got some funding from another source to invest in an actual fundraising tool that we've never had before. And we're focusing on trying to get the community more involved through some additional fundraising efforts. But your dollars are so critical to our operation, and we appreciate it. And we're asking for $50,000 this year again. Thank you. Any questions at all?
I think so. No, I appreciate you coming in, and we really appreciate you guys looking outside of just government being able to fund that and getting the community behind that, so.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
What you do obviously is a labor of love, and we appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Okay, next on our agenda is the Beaman Home. Jennifer? Good morning.
I'm April Sloan. I'm the mental health counselor at the Beaman Home.
Okay.
Beaman Home is asking for a slight increase this year. We asked for 50,000, mainly because we are experiencing budget cuts. Our grant, our largest grant, which is our VOCA grant, told us to prepare for a 20% budget cut, which will be about 135,000 over 2 years. So that's why we did ask for an increase. We plan on using any money that we get from you guys to supplement our operating costs. And what our operating costs are is we are a 24-hour emergency shelter for domestic violence victims. Within the shelter, we house a 24-hour crisis line. We provide all essential needs, essential transportation, food, of course, and everybody's seen that increase, so we are planning on that to continue to increase for us. We provide support groups, case management, mental health counseling, obviously, or Beaman Home wouldn't have a counselor. I'm trying to think. We also work with the JCAP program, so we send our case managers and our advocates out into the community. And 80% of the individuals that we serve at the Beaman Home are from Kosciuszko County. So the majority of the money does stay in serving the victims here. And we also help with continued self-sufficiency because we have a housing program that assists with putting them in a home, and a case manager works with them for 6 months to a year so they can maintain employment, increase their income, and hopefully become self-sufficient. So, is there any questions that you have?
Nope. Keep up the good work. You know you do.
No, not
And this is our new executive director.
Yes, so Jennifer Hayes left in December, and April took over as interim director for that time until they found me to come and take the new position. So she wrote the grant, so I told her she could present today.
There you go. Right.
I'm almost 5 days into the
Delegation of responsibility.
I'm not quite ready to give you the spiel yet.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, thank you very
Well, we
much.
appreciate
Keep
you
up the
both
good
coming
work.
in. Look forward to working with both of you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, last on our list is Kosciuszko County Senior Services. David, good morning.
Good morning. I'd like to thank the commissioners for the past support we have had, and it's very much appreciated. We are asking for an increase up to $40,000 from $32,139 that we got last year. One of the indicators that we need an increase is if you driving to work saw the gas prices. $5.25 a gallon is what I saw last. It's probably up already. It's had a significant impact on our seniors and on our services to seniors. Let me go over the 3 programs that I've talked to you about in the past for senior services. We are the only not-for-profit that's strictly for over 60 seniors. In this county, there's approximately the same amount of people over 60 as there are 5 to 18 years old. There's not the representation in giving that is equal to that, but that's just the way it is. Our 3 programs are, we'll start with Handicapped Van Transportation. We have 5 buses that are handicapped accessible that take senior citizens to, we prioritize medical rides, then it's nutritional rides, and then we do some recreational rides. It was good to see Matt talk about cabs because we do collaborate with cabs. We even kind of dressed alike, we noticed.
Without the beard, right?
Yeah, I shaved my beard off from last year. We, in the collaborations, one of the big collaborations is Senior Services has our maintenance done by cabs. He's got an excellent mechanic in Randy James, and it just helps with their local match. And if we're going to pay somebody to do our needed maintenance, why not pay cabs? We also work with them in the Transportation Advisory Committee, which is an NDOT requirement. We do, the expense for transportation is great, but we do, for example, there's a lady we pick up in Milford every 3 days a week for dialysis. Well, what is it, 20 miles from Warsaw to Milford, 20 miles back, 20 miles there, 20 miles back, 3 days a week. That's an expensive ride, but it's dialysis. What's more important than dialysis? We also, I talked about it last year and I'll talk about it again. When Owens West closed, We picked up a lot of the slack for retired Tigers to go to Owens East, Walmart, Martin's, wherever they want to go to shop. A lot of people don't understand, and it's hard to understand what it's like to go without transportation. And I always say, just hang your keys up for a week and see how well you do. The other, briefly touching on our programs, the other crucial program that we do is home delivered meals. We do approximately 80 meals to seniors all over the county. We have a wonderful group of volunteers that deliver the meals. A lot of times, this is the only nutritional meal that they get during the day. And the home delivered meal, while the meal is, of course, very important, we also can put a set of eyes on a senior citizen. And it's the wellness check aspect of it is almost equally important. I can tell many times where I'm here, this is my 7th year, I can count at least 10 times we've saved a life of a senior that we found either down or in distress. And then there's also just especially with COVID, that's the only person that senior sees during the day. And we tell our volunteers, spend some time with them, talk to them, how you doing? We made some accommodations for COVID, but hopefully, like everyone's saying, we're past COVID. But it was even more isolation for seniors during COVID. And the last program I want to talk about is the Senior Activity Center. It was great to hear Daryl talk about the veteran that we honored, that you honored. We also have a Threads of Valor ceremony where we have a group of ladies that knits quilts for veterans. And they come in and have a ceremony with about 150 people, and they get their honor, they get the quilt. And I'm reminded of one of our veterans that if you have not honored, I would like to submit him, and I'll work on that, Charlie Garner, who's 98 years old. You have honored him? Awesome. Awesome.
What's that?
We didn't do Charlie yet.
No, that's why, we haven't done it, but he would be a great candidate.
I will put him in. Charlie is a Normandy veteran, and there's not many of those left. He was at the Battle of the Bulge. He's 98 years old and just feisty as can be. The Activity Center, though, does a lot of other things. We have a hot, nutritious meal at the Activity Center 5 days a week. We bring seniors in so they can get out of their isolation of their house, so that the transportation, home delivered meals, and Activity Center all work together. In this time of inflation, though, the senior population I'd say it's nearly a crisis level. When you're on a fixed income and inflation's 8%, it's tough for them. It's really, really tough. We serve approximately 500 seniors in all 3 of our programs, and they are really, really having a tough time. Social Security at most goes up 3% for cost of living, and fixed income people are just having a really, really rough time this year. So having said all that, if there are any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
Glenn, I appreciate coming in, David.
Oh, no problem.
Well, the services you provide, the older people in our community, it's very important, and we appreciate you.
And seniors tend to be forgotten, unfortunately.
Measure of a community is how you take care of those who can't take care of themselves, and you're doing a great job.
I appreciate that.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other business come before the commissioners? If not, I have one other thing I'd like to bring up here this morning. We got a letter from Alan T.O. on a MedTech implant investment initiative, and he's asking for a letter of support from the commissioners to support this. This is a grant it's a federal grant that he would be filing for, and it's just a letter of showing our support behind it. There's no matching funds or anything like that, but I think he's talked with both you gentlemen as
Yes,
well. So.
I'd make a motion, we support Alan Tio's letter.
Okay.
I'd second that.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. If not, we'll see y'all back here on June 21st. Thank you. Yeah, one down.
I am, no, I'm serious. There's no sarcasm there. Whoops.
Hey, Brad, I would suggest I cut Charlie's hair all the time. I could ask him to be one of our